Hello, my yarn smithing lovelies. It's really nice to be here and to have you back. So today we're going to have a little look at a simple gift idea, and it's one of these little shower buff things, or earrings, hat, whatever you like. So that is just a nice way of using up a bit of stash, and you can pop that with, you know, maybe some handmade soap and a little candle or something in a gift basket. That would be a really nice gift. So I'm going to see you over at the table in a little while to have a look at that. In the meantime, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. If you want to see a little bit more, you can pop over to my Patreon site, where there's lots going on there. You can join as a member, and then there's loads of free patterns, make-alongs, all kinds of things. We're here in central UK in the middle of a heat wave. It is so hot, I can't tell you. So I'm sitting here in just my underwear. I'm not gonna show you down there. You really don't want to see that. I'm not going to subject anybody to that. My eyes are really sore because the pollen is really high. We're not like most countries. Most of us here in the UK, our houses are built to keep the heat in, so we don't have air conditioning and all that kind of stuff like a lot of you have. So it really is a nightmare. So I'm going to pop over there, and I'll see you when we're done. So here it is, today's little fun project. This is really fast, really easy to do. In fact, it's so easy to do, I'm almost embarrassed to show it you. But it's one of those shower buff things. Makes a really nice little gift if you put that with some handmade soap and, you know, maybe a soy candle or something in a basket. That would be a really nice gift for somebody. So I'm going to show you how to make this. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's just too simple. So what we're going to need is some cotton yarn. It must be cotton because obviously we're going to take this into the shower and we need it to hold up. I'm using some recycled cotton today by Utopia Crafts. This says it's Aran on the label. It's actually not. The yarn is more like what we call in the UK double knitting or DK. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter. It's going to work whatever thickness of yarn you use. I'm going to put this on my yarn genie. I absolutely love this. I don't know why it's taken me so long to start using it. I've been doing knitting and crochet for, oh gosh, getting on for 50 years. And this is the first time I've used these, and it's been a revelation to me, honestly. So to make the buff this size, you would start with 36 chain. I'm just going to do 6 because obviously the pattern repeats all the way across, and there's no point me sitting here for hours showing you the whole thing. So I'm just going to do 6 chain. You're going to do 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm going to do one more chain and 2 double crochets into the second chain from the hook. So that's 1, oops, and 2. Again, I'm doing this at arm's length, so it's a little bit awkward for me. And we're just going to carry on across the row, and I'm going to do 2 doubles into each chain. This yarn does split a little bit, however it's perfect for these shower buffs. It stands up really well in the shower. It's colour fast, so it doesn't lose its colour. That was the thing I remember I did quite a long time ago. I made one of these and it was in a really fluorescent colour, and that was okay until the person I made it for took it into the shower. The colour started to come off all over them. That didn't go down well. So there it is. So you'll go all across the row on your 36 chain, and say I'm only doing 6, and doing 2 doubles into each chain. So we're going to turn, just do 1 chain, and then we're going to repeat that. We're just going to do 2 doubles into each. So we started off, you'll start off with 36, so already you're on quite a few stitches. So I'm doing 2 doubles into each all across the row. I do like the idea of using recycled yarn. I do that wherever I can. Obviously if I'm working for yarn companies or whatever, I have to work with what they send me, but when it's my personal choice, wherever I can, I do buy recycled yarn. That's much better than it going into landfill. And the last one. 1 chain and turn, and now we're going to do exactly the same thing again. We're going to work 2 doubles into each stitch all the way across. Of course I only started with 6 chain, you're going to start with 36. Which means it's going to take you considerably longer to get across the row than it is doing me. Use a size of hook that's appropriate for the yarn that you're using. However, I would say keep your stitches fairly loose. What we want to do, because we're going to take this into the shower with shower gel, we want lots of little air pockets so that it makes a lot of bubbles. So we don't want this too dense. I find that I can get one of these buffs out of a 50-gram ball. Obviously it depends what yarn you're using on the yarn length, but if it's for gifts or for selling, don't use any more than that. So that was row 3, so each row we've done 2 doubles into each stitch. Row 4 we're going to do exactly the same, 2 doubles into each stitch. We're nearly done now. So that was row 4. So now row 5, slightly different because we're just going to do 1 double into each stitch all the way across. If you feel at this point that you're going to want your buff a little bit denser, then you can carry on and do 2 stitches into each one again, or even 3 if you want to. But if you're going to say, you know, do a few of these, you don't want to be using a huge amount of yarn. And when we get to the end of that row, what we're going to do is we're just going to slip stitch all the way down that edge, down to the starting chain. Doesn't matter how many slip stitches you put in there really. So you can see we're just going down this edge with slip stitches until we get to the starting chain, which is there. And then we're going to do 30 chain, we're then going to cut the yarn but leave a fairly long tail because that's what we're going to use to sew it up at the end and then pull it through. This is obviously going to make our little hanging handle. So then to finish, I'm going to use a little bit of this Rico Rumi Lame yarn. These come in these fabulous little balls, just for like finishing edges and stuff. The reason I'm using this one because it actually looks really pretty on the end, but also it adds a little bit of roughness to it, which means it's like an exfoliating buff. And all we're going to do literally is work 1 row of single crochets, starting from whichever end you like, it doesn't matter. So we're going to work that all across. I wouldn't like to do too much in this yarn because it's kind of really rough on your fingers, but the roughness is the whole point in this instance, because say we want it to be a little bit scratchy, we want a little bit of exfoliant there. So there we have that nice little edge done. So what we do then, obviously sew all your ends in, then take the yarn we left at the end of that chain, and obviously yours will be longer because yours is 36 to start with, and all we're going to do is weave in and out of that chain all the way across, thusly. Pull that really tight, and obviously you've got a lot more going, but you can see how that's going to work, and eventually we're going to end up looking like this. So like I say, super easy. I was almost embarrassed to show. It looks actually, you know, like it's taken a lot longer than it actually did, and say gift that with, you know, maybe some bath crystals or a nice shower gel, some handmade soap, a soy candle, something like that in a basket, and that's a really nice gift. So hope you've enjoyed. I'm going to see you back over at the other camera in a second. So that was that. Really simple. You can gift those, keep them, sell them. It's a really good way of using up your stash if you've got any cotton yarn over there. I mean, you can see here I've got so much stuff. I really do need to be working on a few more projects to use that up. There's actually a little bit more coming. That's you'll see that in a few weeks. I'm working on a new project for the people over on my Patreon channel first. If you want to pop over there and have a little look, I'm going to put the address up there somewhere. I always put patterns that I work on. They're free to my Patreon members. They're usually for sale over on Lovecrafts or Ravelry, but like I say, if you're a paid member of my channel over there on Patreon, you get all that for free, so it's actually well worth going over and having a little look. So in the meantime, thank you very much indeed for joining me. It's always my pleasure to be with you here. Happy yarn smithing, love as always, and I'll see you really soon. Bye bye.